Hi friends, my name is Nandita. I am from Andhra Pradesh.
Good morning dear students. Today we are going to discuss about plant tissues from Anatomy of Flowering Plants CBSE class 11. Children, you can very easily see the structural similarities and variation in the external morphology of large living organisms, both plants and animals. Similarly, if we were to study the internal structure, one also finds several similarities as well as difference. This chapter introduces you to study the internal structure and functional organization of higher plants. Study of internal structure of plant is called anatomy. Plants have cells as the basic unit. Cells are organized into tissues and in turns the tissues are organized into organs. Different organs in a plant show difference in their internal structure. Within angiosperm, the monocot and dicots are also seen to be anatomically different. Internal structure also show adaptations of diverse environments. Plant anatomy is the branch of botany which deals with the study of internal structures and organizations of plants. Nehemiah Grew is known as the father of plant anatomy. K. A. Chowdhury is known the father of Indian plant anatomy. Children, now let us discuss about tissues. Tissue, a group of cells which is similar or dissimilar in shape, having a common origin and usually performing a common function is called tissue. The term tissue was coined by Nehemiah Grew. The tissue are divided into groups by Carl Naegeli on the basis of stages of development, meristematic and permanent. Plant tissue basically divided into two types. One is meristematic tissue and second one is permanent tissue. Again, these meristematic tissues divided into three types: origin and development, location and function. Comes under the origin and development, again it subgroups into promeristem, primary meristem and secondary meristem. Come to the location, apical, intercalary and lateral, and comes under the function, protoderm, procambium and ground meristem are found. Now come to discuss about permanent tissues. Permanent tissues again subdivided into two types. One is simple permanent and second one is complex permanent. Simple permanent are called tissues comes under parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Come to complex permanent tissues are xylem and phloem. First, let us discuss about meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue is a simple plant tissue in which growth in plants is largely restricted to specialized regions of active cell division. A meristem is a localized region in which actual cell division occurs. Growth in plants is largely restricted to specialized regions of active cell division called meristem. Plants have different kinds of meristems. The meristems which occurs at the tip of roots and shoot and produce primary tissues are called apical meristem. Root apical meristem occupies the tip of a root, while the shoot apical meristem occupies the distantmost region of the stem axis. During the formation of leaves and elongation of stem, some cells left behind from shoot apical meristem constitute the axillary bud. Such buds are present in axils of leaves and are capable of forming a branch or a flower. The meristem which occurs between mature tissue is known as intercalary meristem. They occur in grasses and regenerate parts removed by the grazing herbivores. Both apical meristem and intercalary meristems are primary meristem because they appear early in life of a plant and contribute to the formation of primary plant body. The meristem that occurs in the mature regions of roots and shoots of many plants, particularly those that produce woody axis and appear later than primary meristem, is called the secondary or lateral meristem. They are cylindrical meristem, fascicular vascular cambium, interfascicular cambium, and croc cambium are the examples of lateral meristem. These are responsible for producing the secondary tissues following divisions of cells in both primary as well as secondary meristem. The newly formed cells become structurally and functionally specialized and lose the ability to divide. Such cells are termed permanent or matured cells and constitute the permanent tissue. During the formation of the primary plant body, specific regions of the apical meristem produced dermal tissues, ground tissue, and vascular tissue. Now let us discuss the types of meristematic tissues or meristem. The meristematic tissues is divided on three types. First one is based on location, and second one is based on origin, third one is based on function. The meristematic tissues is divided on the basis of the location are apical or terminal meristem located on tips of roots and stem. Second is cambium or lateral meristem, it is located under the bark. Third one is intercalary meristem, it is located in the leaves and internodes. Now next we will discuss about based on the origin, how meristematic tissues are divided. Based on the origin, the meristematic tissues are divided into promeristem, it's originated from embryo, primary meristem, it originated from promeristem, secondary meristem, it's originated from permanent tissues. Now let us see based on the function how meristematic tissues can be divided. Based on this, the meristematic tissue divided into protoderm, it protects from mechanical shocks, and next one is procambium, it gives rise to the xylem and phloem, and third one is ground meristem, forms the cortex, pericycle and pith of the plant. Now let us discuss the classification of meristematic tissue. First let us discuss in detail of the origin and development of meristematic tissue. On the basis of origin and development, meristem can be divided into three types. Already we discussed that: promeristem, primary and secondary meristem. The promeristem embryonic are also called as embryonic meristem. This meristem develops in beginning during embryonic stage. Promeristem are usually found in root apex or shoot apex. They develop primary meristem. Come to the primary meristem. Primary meristem cells develop from promeristem and also known as primary meristem. These cells are always in division phase and form primary permanent tissue. Secondary meristem. These are the meristem developed from primary permanent tissues. They are not present in the embryonic stage of the plant. Some of the cells of primary permanent tissue become meristematic and constitute secondary meristem. By the activity of secondary meristem, secondary growth takes place. Let us discuss about the based on location means position in plant body. On the base of position, meristematic tissues are divided again into three types. They are apical, intercalary and lateral meristem. Let us discuss about apical meristem. The meristem which occurs at the tip of roots and shoots and produced primary permanent tissues. They are responsible for increasing in the length of plant organs and primary growth. Examples like root apex and shoot apex. Apical meristem has region embryonic stage that are promeristem and primordial meristem, which develops in embryonic stage, and eumeristem, and which is formed from the division of primordial meristem. According to Heberlein, eumeristem is divided into three regions, that is protoderm or dermatogen. It is the protoderm or dermatogen is the outermost layer of eumeristem. By the cavity of protoderm, epidermal tissue system is formed. It includes epidermis, root hair, stem hair, etc. Procambium or pellirome. These are long and give rise to vascular tissues. It includes xylem and phloem. Ground meristem or peribellum. The cells of this region are large, thin-walled and isodiametric. Ground tissue system is formed by the cavity of these cells. It includes hypodermis, cortex, endodermis, pericycle, pith race and pit. Now let us discuss about intercalary meristem. The intercalary meristem occurs between mature tissues and it is separated region of apical meristem. It is found in between the plant organs. By the cavity of this meristem, length of the plant organ increases. They are present in some stems of plants. They may be present either at the base of internode, for example grasses, bamboo and eucalyptus, etc. At the base of node, they are also present at the base of leaves like pinus. By the activity of meristem, length of leaves increases. These meristems are short-lived. On losing their power of division, they merge with permanent tissues. Lateral meristem. Lateral meristem occurs in lateral side of plant organ or parallel to the longitudinal axis of plant organ. Activity of lateral meristem increases the width of plant organ, so it is responsible for secondary growth. Lateral meristem are both primary and secondary in origin, means smoothly secondary in origin. There are two examples of primary lateral meristem. One is marginal meristem. It occurs at the margin of leaf. Its activity increases the width of the leaf, so total growth of a leaf is called intercalary margin growth. Intrafascicular cambium or fascicular cambium. This cambium occurs inside the vascular bundles except intrafascicular cambium. All cambia are secondary in origin and lateral meristems are cylindrical. Now, by this division, a plate-like structure is formed. Formation of leaf blade takes place by the activity of this meristem. Mass meristem divided in all possible planes and result in an increasing in the volume of plant body. Example, the formation of embryo and endosperms takes place by this kind of meristem. Now let us discuss the position of apical meristem in different plants. Apical meristem is absent in lower algae and fungi. All the cells of these plants are divisible, so they do not show apical growth. Thus, such type of growth in this plant is called diffused growth. Diffused growth also occurs in animals. Apical meristem in higher algae, example Fucus, Dichota, Sargassum, Biophytes and Petridophytes, consists of a single cell. This cell is known as apical cell. This apical cell is pyramid in shape and divided into two lateral planes. Apical meristem in fronts, gymnosperms and angiosperms of many cells. Several theories have been available in relation to structure and growth habitat of apical meristem. Types of theories of apical meristems are histogene theory, tunica corpus theory, mental core theory, Newman's theory or Corpor kappa theory, etc. Now let us discuss the apical cell theory. This theory was proposed by Carl Naegeli and Hofmeister and supported by Wolff. According to Naegeli and Hofmeister, the apical meristem is composed of a single apical cell. This view is only applicable on biophytes and some pteridophytes and some higher algae. Histogene theory. This was proposed by Hanstein in 1870. According to him, the root and shoot apex are distinguished into three meristematic regions, three layers of histone cells. These are dermatozone, peribulum, pelirome. Dermatogen. This is the outer single layer of cell. These cells form uniseriate epidermis by anticlinal divisions. Peribulum. This region is situated just below the dermatogen. It forms cortex like hypodermis, general cortex and endodermis. Pelirome. This is the innermost region. Stele formation takes place by division of the cells. It means formation of pericycle, vascular bundles, pith rays or medullary rays and pith takes place. This theory is only true for root apex. It is not applicable for shoot apex of higher plants because in most of gymnosperms and angiosperms, shoot apex does not have distinct difference of these three layers. Except the above described three histogenes, a fourth type of histogene is present in monocotyledons. This is known as clyptrogen. Root cap is produced by clyptrogen in monocots. Root cap is produced by dermatogen in dicotyledons. One histone present in ranunculus, two histones exception. This is only occur in casuarina due to the presence of root cap position of root apex is subterminal, so maximum growth in root takes place behind the apex. In hydrophytes, a root cap is absent. Generally, root cap is single layer, but in screw pine, root cap is multi-layer. Root cap contain more amount of Golgi body which secretes mucilage which make the root slimy. A group of inactive cells present between the dermatogen and clyptrogen is called quiescent center. These cells contain less amount of DNA and synthesis of protein is also less. Now let us discuss the theory of tunica corpus. This theory was proposed by Schmidt in 1924. This theory is applicable on shoot apex. It is based on planes of division. According to this theory, two types of layers are found in shoot apex. One is tunica and second one is corpus. Tunica. This is the peripheral layer. Epidermis is formed by this layer. In tunica cells, anticlinal division takes place only in one plane. The anticlinal division occurs at right angles to the longitudinal axis of the cell. Surface area of the plant organs increases due to the anticlinal divisions. When divisions occurs in single anticlinar plane, they do not increase the number of layers. Generally, tunica represents only a single layer, but sometimes it is multi-layered when the outermost layers form the epidermis and remaining layers form rest type of the tissue system with the association of corpus. Corpus. The mass of cells present below the tunica is called corpus. The cells of corpus usually larger than the cells of tunica. It forms the rest of the tissue system. Now let us discuss about permanent tissue. Permanent tissue are composed of cells which have lost the power of division temporarily or permanently. They are formed by the division and differentiation of meristematic tissue. Cell cycle of permanent tissue is arrested at G1 stage, so cells have no capacity to divide actively, so it is composed of mature cells. At G1 stage of differentiated cells is called GO stage. They may be living or dead. These are permanent tissues are of three types. One is simple permanent tissue or homogeneous tissue, complex tissues, heterogeneous tissue, and a special tissue. Let us discuss about simple tissue. These tissues are made up of similar cells that perform a common function. Simple tissues are again of three types. These are parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Let us discuss about parenchyma. It is very primitive type of tissue. It is a first evolved tissue. Remaining all different types of tissues are derived from this tissue. So it is called as fundamental tissue. Let us discuss the characteristic features of this tissue. It is a living tissue and it is the first to be differentiated from meristem. It is found in all plants and plant parts like root, stems, leaves. All the cells of parenchyma are thin-walled and it contains both primary and secondary walls. Cell wall is made up of pectocellulose, so parenchyma is soft tissue. Parenchyma is the most common tissue which is morphologically and psychologically unspecialized. Each cell contains a large central vacuole. So the main function of a parenchyma cell is storage of food. The intracellular spaces are present in between the cells of this tissue and the cells are isodiametric. Flesh of a fruit is mainly composed of parenchyma. The cells of parenchyma are spherical, oval, polyhedral in shape. Let us discuss about modification of parenchyma. Prosenchyma. Prosenchyma cells of this parenchyma are long with pointed ends. This parenchyma forms the pericycle of roots. Erenchyma. This parenchyma is made up of round cells. These cells surrounds the large air chambers. It is found in cortex region. It provides buoyancy to hydrophyte plants. Collerenchyma. In this parenchyma, abundant quantity of chloroplasts are found. Palisade tissue. In this, intercellular spaces are absent. Number of chloroplasts are more in palisade tissue as compared to spongy tissue. So, upper surface of a leaf appears more green as compared to lower surface. Spongy tissue. Large intercellular spaces are present in this spongy tissue, so they facilitate transpiration and gases exchange. Mucilage parenchyma. In this mucilage parenchyma, large vacuoles and mucilage will be found. Example, succulent xerophyte plants function as storage of water, etc. Now let us discuss about the functions of parenchyma. The main function of this tissue is storage of food. Some cells of parenchyma store waste materials. They are called idioblast cells. These idioblast cells store and forms oils, tannin and crystals of calcium oxalates. Now let us discuss about collerenchyma. Collerenchyma is a living mechanical tissue. Lignin is absent. It is made up of elongated oval, spherical or polygonal cells. Localized deposition of pectocellulose, mainly hemicellulose, is the characteristic features of collerenchyma. Vacuolated cytoplasm is found in the cells of collerenchyma. Collerenchyma originated from ground meristem. Collerenchyma is not a universal tissue. It is found in the stem of herbaceous dicotyledonous. Collenchyma is absent in the parts of woody plant parts like roots and monocotyledons. Collenchyma forms the hypodermis of dicotyledon stems. Cells of collenchyma are flexible due to the hydrophilic nature of pictocellulose, so flexibility occurs in dicotyledonous stems. Collenchyma is absent in plants after secondary growth because plant becomes woody. Chloroplast may be found in the cells of collenchyma. There are chloroplasts found in the hypodermis of dicotyledonous stem. Let us discuss the functions of this collenchyma. Mechanically as well as biological functions can be performed. It provides tensile strength for extensibility of various growing plant organs. Due to the presence of chloroplast, it also participates in the process of photosynthesis. Now let us discuss about sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma is the main mechanical tissue. The cells are long, narrow, thick-walled, lignified and dead. Various types of pits are formed due to the deposition of lignin on hard wall. On the basis of length of cells and quantity of deposition of wall material, sclerenchyma cells are two types: sclerites and sclerenchymatous fibers. Sclerites. These are small, extremely thick-walled, and their ends are not pointed. Sclerites are isodiametric or irregular in shape. Sclerites cells have more pits and lumen is almost very small. Their pit cavity is branched. Stone cells or grit cells. These cells are peripheral or oval in shape. They are found in endocarp or drip fruits, so endocarp becomes hard. They are present in endocarp of coconut, mango, almond, walnut, etc. Besides drip fruits, branchy sclerites also present in fleshy edible part of pear. Grittiness in a pear fruit is due to these sclerites. Trichosclerites. These are known as internal hairs. They are spine-like bifurcated cells found in floating leaves. Astrosclerites. These are statellite star-shaped. They are found in floating leaves. Both astro and trichosclerites are present in floating leaves. Macrosclerites or rod cells or malphigial cells. These are small and rod-like cells. They are present in seed coat. Examples: they form a part of seed coat in legume plants. Due to their presence, seed coat becomes hard and dormancy is present in legume seeds. In leguminous plants, hardest seed coat is found in French bean, so dormancy is found in leguminous seeds. In plant kingdom, hardest seed coat is found in lotus. Osteosclerites. These are also known as prop cells. These are pillar-like cells who both ends spreads to form bone-like structures. Examples: these cells are found in leaves of two plants like Hakea and Osmanthus. Sclerenchymatous fibers. These cells are fibrous. They are the longest cells in the plant body. Their both ends are pointed tapering. Due to the thick cell wall, lumen is reduced. Their cell wall contains simple and bordered pits. Woody fibers. These are hard fibers. The fibers are not flexible. They cannot be knitted easily, so they are not useful. These are found in xylem. Bast fibers or extra fibers or phloem fibers. These are also known as commercial fibers. These fibers are flexible and can be knitted easily. They have great economic value. These fibers are obtained from the phloem and pericycle of plants. The bast fibers of jute, sun hemp and hibiscus are obtained from the secondary phloem of stem. The bast fibers of hemp and flax are obtained from the pericycle. Fibers which are obtained from pericycle are called perivascular fibers. Now let us discuss about complex permanent tissue. The complex permanent tissues are made up of more than one type of cells and these work as an unit. Complex tissues are heterogeneous. Complex tissues are absent in gametophytes. Complex tissues are of two types. One is xylem and second one is phloem. Xylem and phloem are together called as conducting tissues organized into vascular bundles. Let us discuss about xylem. The function of xylem is to conduct water and mineral salts upwards from the root to stems, leaves, and to give mechanical strength to the plant body. On the basis of origin, xylem is divided into primary xylem and secondary xylem. Primary xylem originates from procambium. On the basis of development, primary xylem is again divided into two types, protoxylem and metaxylem. Cells of protoxylem are small as compared to metaxylem. Secondary xylem originates from vascular cambium. Let us discuss the elements of xylem. The elements of xylems are tracheids, vessels of tracheae means dead elements, xylem fibers, and xylem parenchyma, which means a living element. Now let us discuss about tracheids. Tracheids are primitive conducting elements of xylem. Tracheids are unicellular and having narrow lumen. Tracheids join together from their ends to form long rows. These rows extending from the roots via stem to the leaves. A transverse septum lies between each two tracheids. Water moves from one tracheid to another tracheid through pits. Tracheids are dead and lignified cells. The deposition of lignin on cell wall is responsible to form a different types of thickening, means pits are unlignified areas on lignified walls. Usually, bordered pits are present at the end walls of tracheids. The maximum bordered pits are found in the tracheids of gymnosperm plants. Maximum deposition of lignin is found in pitted type of thickening. Annular or spherical type of thickening of lignin is found in protoxylem. Reticulate and pitted type of thickening of lignin is found in metaxylem. Tracheids of petridophytes have long or elongated bordered pits. Such type of pits are called scalariform pits. Vessels. It is an advanced conducting element of xylem. The basic structure of vessel is same as tracheids. Vessels are multicellular. They are also dead elements of xylem. The lumen of vessel is wider than tracheids and end walls is perforated. Transverse septum is absent between two vessel elements. If present, then porous. Those vessels are more capable for conducting of water than tracheids due to the presence of perforated end wall. Vessel work as a pipeline during conducting of water. Vessels containing usually simple pits as their lateral walls. Thickening type of walls is the same as tracheids. Vessels are only found in xylem of angiosperm, but exceptionally it is also present in some gymnosperms like Ephedra, Genitum, etc. Welwitschia, etc. Vessels are absent in some angiospermic plants such as Dracania, Yucca, Dazinaria, Rims, etc. These are some angiosperm families in which vessel-less angiosperms are included. Examples are Wintercaceae, Tetracentraceae, and Trochodentraceae. Vessels are examples of dead site. Cell which is formed by fusion of cell is called syncytite. Xylem fibers. These are also dead parts of xylem. Xylem fibers provide strength to the tracheids and vessels. Mainly these fibers provide strength to the vessels. They are present more abundant in secondary xylem. Now let us discuss about xylem parenchyma. Only xylem parenchyma is a living cell of xylem. Its cell wall is made up of cellulose. It stores starch, fats and tannin, etc. The radial conduction of water is a function of xylem parenchyma. It conducts water to peripheral part of plant organ. This walls possess pits. Now let us discuss about phloem. Phloem is also called bast or leptome. The main function of the phloem is to conduct food material usually from the leaf to other parts of the plant, like example storage organ or growing region. On the basis of origin, phloem is classified into two categories. One is primary and one is secondary phloem. Primary phloem originate from procambium and secondary phloem originate from vascular cambium. On the basis of development, primary phloem is categorized into protophlome and metaphlome. The protophlome has narrow sieve tubes, whereas metaphlome has bigger sieve tubes. Phloem remains active for less duration as compared to xylem. Phloem consists of four types of cells. Those are sieve elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. Now let us discuss about sieve elements. Sieve elements was discovered by Hartig. Sieve elements include sieve cells and sieve tubes. Sieve cells or sieve tube elements are living and thin-walled. A matured sieve cell sieve tube element lack nucleus, thus there are nucleated living cells. Central vacuole is present in each sieve cell sieve tube element. Cytoplasm of sieve cells or sieve tube elements show cyclolysis in the form of thin layer around the vacuole. In angiosperm plants, sieve tube elements are arranged with their ends and form sieve tube. Sieve plate is present between two sieve tube elements at their end wall. It is porous. Materials are transported through this porous. Example, College B13-glucan deposited on the radius of porous during dropping season of leaves to form a thicker layer. This is called callus pad. Sieve plate is protected by callus pad. It is also prevented from bacterial infection and drought. Callus dissolves during spring season. In angiosperms and petridophytes, sieve cells do not perform sieve tube and arranged irregularly. Sieve cells have sieve plates on their lateral walls, thus conduction of food takes place in zigzag manner. In angiosperms, food production is erected and efficient. Food conduction is bidirectional in sieve tube. In sieve tube, oblique transverse perforated septa are present on their end wall. Sieve tube is an example of living sink site. Companion cells. The companion cells are thin-walled living cell with a large nucleus, and this nucleus also controls the cytoplasm of sieve tube element. Companion cells are only found in angiosperms. Astrobalia is an angiosperm plant, but companion cells are absent. The sieve tube elements and companion cells are connected by pith fields present in their longitudinal walls, which is common wall for both. With the death of one other cell also die. A companion cell is lateral associated with sieve tube element in angiosperm plants. Sieve tube elements and companion cells originated together. Both of them originates from a single mother cell, so called as sister cells. Companion cells and sieve tube elements maintain close cytoplasmic connections with each other through plasmodesmata. A special type of cells are attached within the sieve cells in angiosperms and petridophytes in place of companion cells. These cells are called albuminous cells or Strasburger cell. The albuminous cells in coniferous are analogous to companion cells of angiosperm. They are modified phloem parenchyma cells. The companion cells play an important role in the maintenance of a pressure gradient in the sieve tube. In phloem of petridophytes and gymnosperms, sieve cells are present which are comparable to the tracheids. Now let us discuss about phloem fibers. The phloem fibers may be living or non-living. Living phloem fibers are usually useful for storage of food material, while non-living fibers provide mechanical support to the conducting elements. The main function of these fibers are providing mechanical support and can be used in making ropes, thick cloths and mats. And this can be used in making ropes, thick cloths and mats. Now let us discuss about phloem parenchyma. The phloem parenchyma, also known as bast parenchyma, its cells are living and thin-walled. It stores various material, example resin, latex, mucilage, etc. The main function of phloem parenchyma is conduction of food in radial direction and storage of food. Phloem parenchyma is absent in stems of monocotyledon plants. Phloem parenchyma is absent in the stems of even dicot family, example Talictrum. Latiferous tissue. These are made up of long, highly branched and thin-walled cells. The cells are filled with milky juice called as latex. Latex is the mixture of saccharides, starch granules, alkaloids, minerals and waste minerals. Function of this latiferous tissue is provide protection of the plant. It prevents the plant from infection of bacteria and fungus. In latiferous tissue, there are two types of cells like latex vessels and latex cells. Latex vessels. These are articulated vessels and formed due to the dissolution of cell walls of meristematic cells. These are syncytic cells as well as multinucleated. Example is latex vessels are present in Hevea, ficus, papavir, papaya, etc. Highly developed latex vessels are found in fruit wall of poppy. Optimum is obtained from the latex of Papaver sumiferum. It contains an alkaloid named as morphine. An enzyme papain is obtained from the latex of papaya. Indian rubber is obtained from Ficus elastica and para rubber is obtained from Hevea brasiliensis. Mostly latex is white in color, but in some plant latex is colored. Example, Papivara is dark brown and Argimona is in yellow color. In some plants latex is colorless like banana. Latex cell. These are non-articulated latex duct tubes. There are long, branched and multinucleated cells. Examples of these latex cells are found in Calotropis, Euphorbia and Nerium, etc. This tissue is made up of glands which contain secretory of excretory materials. Glandular tissues have two types of glands. One is unicellular gland, second one is multicellular gland. Unicellular glands. These cells are present on the surface of leaves, which are spiny glands in which formic acid is filled. It protects the plants from grazing animals. Examples Urtica and Dioscia. Multicellular glandular tissue. Multicellular glands are two types. External glands. These are located on the surface of plants and arising as an outgrowth from the epidermis. These glands are various types. Glandular hairs. They secrete gum-like sticky substance in tobacco and plumbago, digestive juices substance in Drosera. Nectar glands. These glands secrete sugar solution. These are found in flower, mainly in thalamus. These glands secrete nectar to attract the insects. Exception. In Passiflora, nectar glands are found in leaves. Internal glands. These glands are embedded in the tissues. Internal glands are all the following types. Digestive glands. Digestive glands are found in insectivorous plants. These glands compensate the deficiency of N2 in insectivorous plants. These are found in Drosera, Dionaea, etc. This secretes polyteolytic juice. Mucus secreting glands. These glands secrete mucus. These are found in leaves of betel. Oil glands. They secrete volate oil. It acts as antiseptic. These glands are found in fruits and leaves of lemon, orange. Mostly oil glands are lysogenous, but in sunflower these glands are zygogenous. Now let us discuss about tissue system and its function. Tissue system mainly divides into three types: dermal tissue system, ground tissue system, and vascular tissue system. Dermal tissue systems comes under the components of epidermis and peridermis, and functions of this dermal tissue system are protection and prevention of water loss. Come to the ground tissue system. Ground tissue system again comes under, already we discussed that, parenchyma tissue, collenchyma tissue, and sclerenchyma tissue. And functions of these tissues are photosynthesis, food storage, regeneration, support, and protection. Come to the vascular tissues. Vascular tissues are Follen tissue and phloem tissue. Functions of these are transportation of water and minerals and transport of food material. In higher plants, several tissues work together in the form of unit to perform a particular function. These tissues have the same origin. Such tissues form a system which is called tissue system. On the basis of division of labor, tissue is characterized by scales into three systems: epidermal tissue system, ground tissue system, and vascular tissue system. Each system usually consists of an association of tissues which perform specific function. Epidermal tissue system. This system includes epidermis, and its related structures are trichomes, root hairs, stomata, and bulliform cells, etc. Epidermis is the outermost layer of all organs of primary plant body. All the epidermal cells are living parenchymatous and contain vacuolated protoplasm. The epidermis is covered with a cutin layer called cuticle. On its outer surface, the thickness of cuticle depends upon the adaptation of a plant. It is thick in xerophytes, thin in mesophytes, and absent in hydrophytes. Cuticle prevents the loss of water, and it is absent in roots. The cells of the epidermis gives rise to a number of protuberances which vary markedly in their shape, structure, and function. They are known as trichomes. These appendages can be unicellular or multicellular. The cellular trichomes are usually simple, unbranched, and elongate structures. On the other hand, the multicellular trichomes and glands are made up of several layers of cells. In shoot system, trichomes are usually multicellular. The trichomes helps in protection, dispersal of seeds and fruits, and reduction of water loss. Now let us discuss about root hairs. The root hairs are formed due to the elongation of epidermal cells and are not protuberance or appendages. They have a vacuolated protoplasm, and the nucleus moves towards the apical part of the cell. The thin wall is made up of cellulose and pectin material. Root hairs play an important role in anchoring the plant body in the soil, besides absorbing water and minerals solutions from it. Stomata. Stomata are tiny pores, and stomata are composed of two bean-shaped epidermal cells called God cells, which encloses stomatal pore. Stomata are mostly present in epidermal layers of leaves and in each other aerial parts like young stems, floral parts, etc. Stomata are absent in roots. God cells in dicots are kidney-shaped, and in monocots are dumbbell-shaped. Outer wall of God cells is thin, but inner wall is thick and inelastic. The movement of stomata depends on the turgidity of flaccidity of God cells. In majority of plants, stoma open during the daytime and remain closed during the night. The God cells may be surrounded by varying number of specialized epidermal cells called subsidiary cells or accessory cells. The stomatal aperture God cells and surrounding subsidiary cells are together stomatal apparatus. Having stomata, epidermis helps in interchanging of gases and transpiration. Ground tissue system. Trichomes. Ground tissue system, also known as fundamental tissue, contain various types of tissue excluding epidermis and vascular tissue. It is the largest tissue system. Ground tissue system is derived partially from peribellum, partly from peribellum and partly from pelorum. It includes general cortex, hypodermis, endodermis, pericycle and medullary rays, pith rays, etc. Cortex is the zone which lies between the epidermis and pericycle. Hypodermis in stems, leaves, in dicots is collenchymatous, while it is in sclerenchymatous in monocots. In stem and leaves, hypodermis gives mechanical support. In dicot stem, hypodermis performs photosynthesis and gives rise to cork cambium. Endodermis is the innermost layer of cortex. Endodermal cells are living and containing abundant protoplasm and large nuclei. Endodermal cells of roots are characterized by Casparian strips. Pericycle is single or few layered parenchymatous or rarely sclerenchymatous cells. In angiosperms, it gives rise to lateral roots. Pericycle is absent in the stem of monocot, hydrophytes and parasites. Let us discuss about the main function of these tissues. Manufacture and storage of food material, mechanical supports and additional works, and vascular steel and conducting tissue system. This tissue system originates from procambium. It consists of xylem and phloem. It also called as a specific tissue system. Phloem elements are formed earlier than the xylem elements. Now let us discuss about water conducting elements of xylem. Types of development of conducting elements are centrifugal, centripetal and both. Centrifugal. In this type of development, the protoxylem formed near the central axis and metaxylem is formed away from the center, it means towards the periphery. This condition is known as endrage. The stem of angiosperm and gymnosperm are examples of this system. Centripetal. In this, protoxylem is formed away from the center, it means near the pericycle, and the metaxylem is formed towards the center. This condition is called exarch. Examples are roots. Centrifugal and centripetal. In these elements of metaxylem is formed from both the sides of elements of protoxylem. In this type of development, protoxylem is surrounded by metaxylem. This condition is known as mesarch. Example, ferron rhizome. Vascular bundles. Xylem and phloem are collectively termed as vascular bundles. On the basis of arrangement of different parts, vascular bundles are divided into three categories: radial vascular bundles, conjoint vascular bundles, and concentric vascular bundles. Now let us discuss about radial vascular bundle. When the xylem and phloem are present separately on different radii in alternate manner, it is called radial vascular bundle. The order of development of xylem in this vascular bundle is centripetal. Thus, these vascular bundles are called exarch. Examples are radial vascular bundles is always closed and present in most of the roots. Examples of these bundles are exception radish, carrot, turnip, sugar beet, beetroot, etc. Conjoint vascular bundles. In this type of vascular bundles, xylem and phloem are present on the same radius. These are two types. Example: conjoint collaterate and conjoint bicollaterate and open vascular bundles. Conjoint collateral and conjoint bilateral and opening vascular bundles. First, conjoint collateral. In conjoint collateral vascular bundle, xylem and phloem are present on the same radius and phloem present towards the periphery. Again, these are two types: open and close. Open. If the cambium is present between the xylem and phloem, it is said to be open vascular system. Examples: stem of dicotyledonous and gymnosperm. Closed type. When the cambium is absent between the xylem and phloem in conjoint vascular bundle, it is called closed vascular bundle. Example: monocotyledonous stem. In this type of vascular bundle, order of development of xylem is centrifugal, so enlarged condition is found in xylem. Conjoint bicollateral and open vascular bundle. These are two patches of phloem, one on each other side of xylem are found. These are two strips of cambium, one on each side of xylem. Such type of vascular bundles are known as conjoint bicollateral and open vascular bundle. Only outer cambium is functional. Order of development of xylem is centrifugal, so enlarged condition is found. Examples: the stems of Cucurbitaceae and some plants of family like Epokinaceae, Solanaceae, etc. Concentric vascular bundles. In this type of vascular bundles, either xylem surrounds the phloem or phloem surrounds the xylem. Concentric vascular bundles are always closed. These are of two types: amphirebral and amphivessel. Amphirebral or hydrocentric. In this type of vascular bundle, xylem is completely surrounded by phloem. It means xylem is present in the center of vascular bundle. The order of development of xylem in these vascular bundles are both in centripetal and centrifugal manner. In this type of vascular bundles, protoxylem is surrounded by metaxylem. These are known as a mesarch vascular bundle. Such type of vascular bundles are found in stem of ferns and lower angiosperms. Amphivessel or leptocentric. In this type of vascular bundle, phloem is completely surrounded by xylem. It means phloem is present in the center of vascular bundles. In this type of vascular bundle, xylem is enlarged. Example: stems of Dracaena, Yucca, etc. Stele. The stele is the whole central mass of vascular tissue, with or without pith, surrounded by endodermis. Van Tigium Dauliot put forward the hypothesis about stele. According to him, stele is the central part or core of the axis on the plant, which includes the vascular system and its related structures. The tissues which lies inside the stele is called intrastellar tissues, and the tissues which lies outside the stele is called extrastellar tissues. The stele is surrounded by endodermis, but endodermis is originally the part of cortex. It is not the part of stele. The stellar system started from pteridophytes in order of evolution. Types of steles are protostele, sypnostele, solanostele, dictostele, eustele, and actostele. Now let us discuss in detail about the steles. Protostele and monostele or solid stele. Protostele is the most primitive and simplest type of stele. It consists of solid mass of xylem, which is completely surrounded by phloem. Such type of stele lack pith. Solid steel is of following types on the basis of shape of xylem. Haplosteel. In this steel, xylem is surrounded by a smooth layer of phloem. Central xylem is cylindrical but circular in TS. Example: Rhynia, selaginodes, etc. Actinosteel. Actinosteel is that steel in which the central xylem has radiating ribs and assumed a star-shaped appearance. Example: Isiotis. Plectosteel. In this solid steel, the xylem divides into a number of separate plates which lie parallel to one another. Most of the species of Lycopodium. Mixed protosteel. Sometimes the solid xylem core of the protosteel is broken into small groups of tracheids which remain embedded in the phloem. Such a protosteel is known as mixed protosteel. Example: Lycopodium, Cernum, etc. Now let us discuss about Sypnosteel. The Sypnosteel is that steel which the pith is present at the center of vascular cylinder. The Sypnosteel is of two types. Ectophilic Sypnosteel. In a vascular tissue of such type of steel, phloem is always present outside of the xylem. Examples of this are Leucopiston, Osmoda, etc. Amphiphilic Sypnosteel. In vascular tissue, such type of steel, xylem is surrounded by phloem on both sides. Example: Adiantum, Marsilia. Now let us discuss about solenosteel. In Petridophytes, there occurs two types of leaves, microphyllous and megaphylous. Microphyllous leaves require more vascular supply, and these leaves receive vascular supply from stem. When a megaphylous leaf develops on stem, vascular cylinder of plant organ breaks from one side and gap is formed. It is called a leaf gap. Means xylem and phloem are absent in leaf gap and it is filled with parenchyma. Vascular supply diverting from stem to leaf is called leaf trace. The leaf trace and leaf gap are present in TS of stem and opposite to each other at internode region. Due to the formation of one leaf gap, steel becomes horseshoe shaped called solenosteel. Also may be ectophilic or amphiphilic. Now let us discuss about dictosteel or polysteel. When the production of many leaf gaps in Sypnosteel, main vascular cylinder breaks into many fragments, then such type of Sypnosteel is called dictyosteel. Each divided fragment is called meristeel. Each meristeel has its own separate endodermis and pericycle. Pith is absent in meristeel. Meristeel is complete steel, so dictosteel is well developed type of steel in Petridophytes. Eusteel. In this type of steel, vascular bundles are arranged in a ring and medullary rays are present between vascular bundles. Such type of steel is found in stems of gymnosperms and dicotyledon plants. Normally in cycas stem, eusteel is present, but in cycas young stem, vascular cylinder is very small in comparison to the cortex and several vascular bundles are arranged in a ring forming an ectophilic spinosteel. Now let us discuss about actosteel. Many vascular bundles are distributed in ground tissue. Such type of steel is called actosteel. Endodermis and pericycle are absent in actosteel. This is highly developed type of steel. Such type of steel is the main characteristic features of monocotyledons and leaves. First, let us discuss about internal structure of dicot stems. The internal structure of a typical dicot stem shows the following features like epidermis, cortex, pericycle, etc. First, let us discuss about epidermis. Epidermis is the outer layer of the stem. It is single layered and lack of chloroplast. Multicellular hairs like trichomes and stomata are found on epidermis. Outer side of epidermis, a layer is present which is made up of cutin, is called cuticle. Epidermis plays a significant role in protection. Cortex. In dicotyledon stem, cortex is divided into three parts: hypodermis, general cortex, and endodermis. Hypodermis is present just below the epidermis and provides additional support to the epidermis. It is thick multicellular layer composed of collenchyma and their cells contain chloroplast, so epidermis is green and photosynthetic. General cortex is composed of parenchyma. Storage of food is the main function of the cortex. Racine canal, mucilage canal are present in it. These are scytiogenous in origin. Endodermis is a single-celled thick layer. The innermost layer of the cortex is called endodermis. The cells of endodermis are barrel shaped. These cells accumulate more starch in stem of dicot. Thus, it is known as starch sheet. Pericycle. This layer is situated in between the endodermis and vascular bundles. The pericycle of stomata is multilayered and made up of sclerenchyma. The sclerenchymatous pericycle is also known as hard bust. In sunflower stems, the pericycle is made up of alternate bands of parenchymatous and sclerenchymatous cells. Pericycles, which is present in front of the vascular bundle, is made up of sclerenchyma and remaining is composed of parenchyma. Part of pericycle which is situated in front of vascular bundle is known as a bundle cap. Pericycle is heterogeneous in sunflower stem. Vascular bundle. The vascular bundles are arranged in a ring. Each vascular bundle is conjoint, collateral and open. Each vascular bundle is made up of phloem, cambium and xylem. Eustyl is present in dicotyledon stems. Pith. This is well-developed region spreading from ring of vascular bundles to the center. The cells of this region made up of parenchyma. Function of pith is storage of water and food. The part of pith which is radially arranged between the vascular bundles called pith race or medullary race. The main function of pith race is radial conduction of food and water. Example: Cucurbita stem. It contains 5 edges of 5 furrows. The vascular bundles are arranged in 2 rows. Each ring has 5 vascular bundles. In this way, the total 10 vascular bundles are present. The vascular bundles of outer ring are small in size and it is situated in front of edges, while the vascular bundles of inner rings are large in size and located below the furrows. Vascular bundles are conjoint, bicollateral and open. Hypodermis is absent and less developed in furrow region and cortex contains chloroplast. Now let us discuss the internal structure of monocot stem. Epidermis. In monocot stem, epidermis is the outermost layer, single-celled thick layer. It is covered with thick cuticle. Multicellular hairs are absent and stomata are also less. Hypodermis. Hypodermis of monocotyledon stem is made up of sclerenchyma. It is 2 to 3 layered. In monocot stem, rigidity is more in hypodermis, whereas in dicot stem, elasticity is more. It provides mechanical support to the plant. Ground tissue. The entire mass of parenchyma cells next to hypodermis and extending to the center, it is called ground tissue. There is no differentiation of ground tissue in monocotyledon stem. It means ground tissue is not differentiated into endodermis, cortex or pericycle, etc. Vascular bundles. Many vascular bundles are scattered into the ground tissue and they are generally oval shaped. Vascular bundles lie towards the center, are large in size and less in number. Vascular bundles situated towards the periphery are small in size but more in number. Each vascular bundles are conjoint, collateral, and closed. Vascular bundles are surrounded by the layer of sclerenchymatous fiber is known as bundle sheath. So, vascular bundles are called as fibrovascular bundles. Xylem. In xylem, number of cells is less. In metaxylem, occur two large cells, while in protoxylem, there occur one or two small vessels. Vessels are arranged in V or Y shape just beneath protoxylem vessels. They occur a water cavity which is schizocycinous in origin, but major part of water cavity is lysigenous. The cavity is formed by disintegration of elements present below the protoxylem and neighboring parenchyma. In asparagus, water cavity and bundle sheath are absent. Phloem, it consists of sieve tube elements and companion cells. Phloem parenchyma is absent. Pith. Pith is undifferentiated in monocotyledon stem. Actostele. Actostele is found in monocotyledon. It is highly developed stele. Now let us discuss the internal structure of dicot root. The internal structure of a typical dicotyledon root showing the following features like epiderma, epiblema, cortex, endodermis. Epiblema. It is a uniseriated outermost layer. It comprises a tubular living components. Cuticule and stomata are absent. Unicellular root hairs are formed due to the elongation of some cells of epiblema. Epiblema is also known as rhizodermis and piliferous layer. Root hairs are present in maturation zone of root cells of epiblema, which is developed root hair called trichoblast. Cortex. Cortex is made up of parenchymatous cells. Chloroplast is absent, so they are non-photosynthetic, but chloroplast is present in roots of Tinospora and Trapa, so they are photosynthetic. The cells of outer part of the cortex are suberized in old roots. It is called exodermis, and exodermis is found in some dicotyledonous roots and most of the monocotyledonous roots are also. Endodermis. This layer is situated between the pericycle and cortex. Casparian strips are present on radial and tangential walls of endodermis. The strips are made up of lignosuberin, means mainly suberin. The cells of endodermis, which are situated in front of protoxylem cells, lack Casparian strips. These are called passage cells, transfusion cells, and the number of passage cells is equivalent to the protoplasm cells. Passage cells provide the path to absorb water from cortex to pericycle. Linearly arranged on root apex. The number of root hairs are similar to the number of passage cells. Casparian bands and passage cells are well developed in monocot roots. These are also present in stem, but they are less developed in endodermis, act as a watertight jacket. Pericycle. It is a single layer and composed of prosenchyma, a type of parenchyma. Pericycle of roots are single layered. At the time of secondary growth, pericycle is responsible for the development of crop cambium. Lateral roots are originated from the part of pericycle which is laying opposite to protoxylem. Those lateral roots are endogenous in origin. A few matured cells of pericycle, usually opposite to protoxylem, becomes meristematic. These cells divided by periclinal divisions and form some layers of cells. These divisions are followed by anticlinal divisions forming a perimordium which grows to form a lateral root. The branches of stems are exogenous in origin because this originated from the outer part of the cortex. The adventitious roots are also endogenous. It originates from phloem parenchyma or internal layer of endodermis or pericycle. Vascular bundles. Vascular bundles are radial and X-arch. Xylem and phloem are separated by equal in number. The number of xylem bundles are 2 to 6, but exceptionally, ficus means banyan tree, root is polyarch. Parenchyma, which is found between xylem and phloem, is called conjunctive tissue. Now let us discuss about internal structure of orchid root. These are the following features of orchid root. Velamen. Velamen, these are found in aerial or hanging roots of some epiphytes, like example orchid. These are the examples of multi-layered epidermis, and these are present outside of the exodermis. These are made up of protoderm and are dead. They absorb atmospheric moisture by imbibition. Passage cells are found in both exodermis and endodermis in hanging roots of orchids. Now let us discuss about the internal structure of a leaf. First, let us discuss the difference between dorsiventral or bifacial leaves and isobilateral or equifacial leaves. Come to dorsiventral leaves. These are present at right angle out to the stem. Upper surface of leaf receive more sunlight as compared to lower surface, so they occur difference between internal structure of upper and lower surfaces. Examples are dicots, exception eucalyptus, and isobilateral or equifacial leaves. In these leaves arranged parallel to the stem, both surface of the leaves receive equal amount of sunlight, so there occur no difference in between the internal structure of upper and lower surface. Examples of these leaves are monocots. Example is Lilium and Longiflorum. Now let us discuss the internal structure of dorsiventral leaves. Dicot leaf is characterized by upper and lower epidermis, cuticle, mesophyll cells and vascular bundles. Cuticle is present on both surfaces, but cuticle of upper surface is thicker than the lower surface. Dorsiventral leaves are mostly hypostomatic, that is, stomata present on lower surface. In amphistomatic dorsiventral leaves, stomata are more on lower surface as compared to upper surface. Mesophyll of these cells divided into two regions, palisade tissue and spongy tissue. The palisade tissue is found towards the upper surface. These cells have more chloroplast, and spongy tissue is found towards the lower surface. Now let us discuss about interstructural isobilateral leaves. The thickness of cuticle on both surfaces is equal. Distribution of stomata on both surfaces are also equal. Isobilateral leaves are amphistomatic, that is, stomata present on both sides. Both the surfaces of isobilateral leaves receives equal amount of sunlight, thus the structure of both the layers are the same. Mesophyll of isobilateral leaves is not differentiated into palisade and spongy tissues. It is completely made up of spongy tissues. Palisade tissues are absent. Bulliform cells or motor cells are present in these leaves. Bulliform cells are large cells found in the epidermis of grasses, which are filled by a liquid of empty, mostly colorless. Upward folding of leaves during the sunny day takes place due to the presence of the specific cells. This is an adaptation to reduce the transpiration. Examples of these leaves are Amophilia, Pova, Empectra and Argopyron, etc. Epidermis of Nerium, both upper and lower and ficus, only upper epidermis becomes multilayer. This is an adaptation to reduce the transpiration. Let us discuss the vascular bundles in leaves. Similar types of vascular bundles are found in both dorsoventral and isobilateral leaves. Vascular bundles of leaves are conjoint, collateral and closed. Protoxylem is situated towards the adaxial surface and profilum is situated towards the abaxial surface in the vascular bundle. Leaves are devoid of endodermis and pericycle. Vascular bundles are surrounded by a bundle sheath. Bundle sheath in C4 plants is sclerenchymatous and remaining plants are parenchymatous or sclerenchymatous. Mainly sclerenchymatous is a bundle sheath. Let us discuss about some of the important facts of these leaves. Xerophytes with isobilateral leaves contain palisade tissue on both sides of the leaf. Desert grasses contain palisade-like spongy tissue. Unifacial or cylindrical leaves have no differentiation of upper and lower surface. Examples: onion and garlic. Albescent leaf. Palisade tissue is restricted in half part of leaf, so half part appears more green than other half appears less green. Examples of abutilon. Tetrarch condition. Helianthus anus and Caesar aretinium root. Waiting meristem concept. This concept was given by Bubert. According to this, there is an inactive center in the shoot apex which is known as a waiting meristem, and it is act as a reservoir of active initials, and on induction it gives rise to reproductive apex. Tannin is found in latex of banana, which it becomes in contact with air, it gets oxidized and becomes reddish brown in color. Tannin glands are found in camellia. These glands are schizogenous in origin. Salt glands are found in tamarix, which secrete sodium chloride. Chalk glands are found in plants of Plumginaceae family, which secretes calcium carbonates. Cystolith cells found in upper epidermis of ficus leaf are called as lithocysts. Cystoliths are crystals of CaCO3. The most durable wood is Tectona grandis. Tracheids are the chief water transporting elements in gymnosperms. Phloem is embedded into the secondary xylem in some plants. Such phloem is called included phloem or interxylary phloem. This is secondary anomalous structure. Examples of this are dicot stem. In monocot stem, root pith is sclerenchymatous. Examples: canna. In aquatic plants, the fronds, the epidermal cells, and the glad cells of stoma possess chloroplast. Now let us discuss about secondary growth. Cells of apical meristem divided, differentiated and developed to form primary tissues. As a result, the plant grows in length. This is called primary growth. By the cavity of secondary, lateral meristem increases in the circumference drift of the plant organs due to the formation of secondary tissues in stellar and extrastellar regions. It is called secondary growth. Normally, secondary growth takes place in roots, stems and dicotyledons, gymnosperms, etc. Due to lack of cambium in monocotyledons, secondary growth is absent. But exceptionally, secondary growth takes place in some monocotyledons such as plum, yucca, dracaena, smilax, agave, coconut, etc. Let us discuss the secondary growth in dicot stem. Secondary growth in stellar region. Secondary growth in stellar region begins earlier than the extrastellar region. Formation of ring of vascular cambium. Let us discuss about formation of ring of vascular cambium. A cambium which is present inside the vascular bundle is called intravascular cambium. This is a type of primary meristem. First of all, cells of medullary rays becomes meristematic to form intravesicular. Formation of rings of vascular cambium. A cambium which is present inside the vascular bundle is called intravesicular cambium. This is a type of primary meristem. First of all, cells of medullary rays become meristematic to form intervesicular cambium, which is secondary lateral meristem. The intravesicular and intervesicular cambium are collectively known as vascular cambium VC. Vascular cambium is formed in the form of a complete ring which is made up of a single layer of cells. In dicot stem, some part of VC is primary and some part of VC is secondary. Two types of cells are found in the ring of this vascular cambium is fusiform initials and ray initials. Fusiform initials are long with pointed ends, while ray initials are spherical, that is oval. Amount of fusiform initials is more in vascular cambium. Now let us discuss about the activity of vascular cambium. The activity of fusiform initials continuous periclinal divisions of tangential divisions takes place in fusiform initials. The plane division in periclinal divisions is parallel to longitudinal axis of a cell. Through this type of activity, few cells are formed towards the radius and these cells are differentiated into secondary phloem or bast, and some of these cells are formed towards the central axis and these cells are differentiated into secondary xylem or wood. Normally, more secondary xylem is formed as compared to secondary phloem due to unequal distribution of hormones. By the pressure of secondary phloem, primary phloem is pushed towards the outside and gets crushed. By the pressure of secondary xylem, all the primary tissues such as primary xylem, pith, etc. and old secondary xylem degenerates in the center of the stem. Due to this, central part of the stem becomes woody. These activities keep on going on continued plant throughout the life. The secondary xylem forms in a plant regularly and primary tissues degenerate continuously. This new secondary xylem also degenerates the old secondary xylem. Waste materials are formed in the stem such as lignin, suberin, tannin, resin, gums due to degeneration of the cells. All these waste materials are filled in the lumen cavity of the tracheids and vessels of secondary xylem. Because of this, wood in the central region of the stem becomes dark colored. It is called heartwood or duramen. The peripheral or outer wood, which looks light in color, is known as sapwood alburnum. As a result of growing of a secondary xylem, the diameter of heartwood increases. Physiologically active wood is sapwood. The main function of sapwood is water conduction. The heartwoods provides maximum mechanical strength to the stem. Conducting of water is not carried by heartwoods because cavities of tracheids and vessels are possibly filled by waste material. The bladder-like in growth of parenchyma cells enter the lumen of vessels and tracheids through pits in their wall. Such bladder-like ingrowth are called as tylosis, and tylosis blocks the conduction of water. In gymnosperm, tylosoids are formed in the place of tylosis. On the basis of amount of parenchyma, the wood is classified into two groups. Monoxylic wood. Such type of wood contains more living parenchyma. It is soft and loosey wood. Example, cycas and other gymnosperms. Pycnoxylic wood. Such wood contains less amount of living parenchyma. It is hardwood. Such type of wood are found in most of the plants like pinus, mango, epica, tectona, etc. On the basis of presence or absence of vessels, wood is classified again into two categories. One is non-porous softwood wood. The non-porous softwood vessels are absent in such type of wood. Examples of gymnosperms. Porous wood. Vessels are present in such type of wood. On the basis of arrangement of vessels, porous wood is divided again into two types. Ring porous wood. The ring porous wood vessels are arranged in the form of a ring in this type of wood. Such wood conducts water more efficiently. Examples, Dalbergia in temperate region. Diffused porous wood. A diffused porous wood is a systematical distribution of vessels. A systematical distribution of vessels is found in this type of wood. Example, Azadirachta in tropical region. Important facts. If the hardwood is destroyed in any stem, then there will be no effect on plants. But if the sapwood is destroyed, then the plant will be die because conduction of water will be blocked. Heartwood provides stiffness to the stem. The waste material of heartwood are antiseptic in nature. Heartwood is resistant to bacteria and fungus. Heartwood has power of repelling insects, so it is resistant to termites, and in the rainy season it does not imbibe water. Thus, it is the best quality of the wood. Study of the wood is known as xylotomy. If a wood is exposed freely in air, then decomposition of sapwood takes place rapidly. The position of youngest layer of stem phloem is just outside the vascular cambium. So, position of older layer of secondary phloem is just inside the primary phloem. The position of youngest layer of secondary xylem is just inside the vascular cambium. Then the position of older layer of secondary xylem just outside the primary xylem. If the xylem is blocked, then the shoot will be die first. Non-porous wood is also called homoxylous wood, and porous wood is also called heteroxylous wood. Let us discuss the activity of initial. Periclinal divisions occurs continuously in ray initials of vascular cambium. Some of these cells are formed towards inside and some of these cells are formed towards outside through these divisions. All these cells are made up of parenchyma. Radial lines of cells of parenchyma are formed in the stem. These are called vascular rays and secondary medullary rays. The medullary rays are primary and vascular rays are secondary. Both of them conduct water and food in radial direction. Order of development of vascular rays is in both centripetal and centrifugal manner. Formation of annual rings. Annual rings are formed due to the unequal activity of vascular cambium. The activity of cambium does not remain same. It is changeable in the whole year. Activity of the vascular cambium is affected the physiological and environmental factors. In winter and autumn season, the activity of the cambium is less and the secondary xylem or wood formed is not extended through the vascular cambium. Cells formed during this period are small, thick-walled and have narrow lumens. This is called autumn wood or late wood. The vascular cambium is highly active in spring or summer season, and secondary xylem is formed during this period is extensive, and cells of secondary xylem are large, thin-walled and have wider lumen. This wood is known as spring wood or early wood. The spring wood is lighter in color and exhibits low density, whereas the autumn wood is dark and has higher density. The atom and spring woods are formed in the forms of rings. The rings of any type of wood is called growth ring. Those two growth rings are formed in 1 year. A ring of atom wood and a ring of spring wood are collectively known as annual ring. Thus, an annual ring consists of two rings. The number of annual rings formed in a tree give the idea of the age of the tree. The study of determination of age of the plant by this technique is called dendrochronology. The annual rings are counted from the base of the stem because the basal part has maximum annual rings and the upper part has less. Therefore, counting from the basal region can give the correct idea. Most distinctive annual rings are formed in that region where climatic variations are sharp. More distinct annual rings are formed in temperate plants. Distinct annual rings are not formed in tropical plants. Distinct annual rings are not formed in India except Himalaya regions. Least distinct annual rings are formed in seahorse rings because the climate regions the same throughout the region. More clear annual rings are found in deciduous plants as compared to evergreen plants. In deserts, the annual rings are less distinct. Annual rings are bands of secondary xylem and xylem rings. Sometimes drought conditions prevail during the middle of growing season, resulting in the formation of more than one annual ring. These are called pseudo-annual rings. Secondary growth in extrastellar region. Secondary growth takes place in extrastellar region due to the activity of cork cambium. The cork cambium is also known as phylogen and extrastellar cambium. The cells of the cork cambium are rectangular. The cork cambium arises from the hypodermis or from the outer layer of the cortex because they become meristematic. Cork cambium is also formed in the form of a single layered ring. It forms a secondary tissue in cortical region. The cork cambium also divides periclinally. It forms some cells towards the outside and some cells towards the inside cortex. Those the cells formed towards the outside, their middle lamella is suberized. Due to this, these cells become dead. These cells are known as cork or phloem. Those the cells are formed towards the inside or differentiated into parenchyma and main contain chloroplast. These are called secondary cortex or phyloderm. Phylogen, phloem and phyloderm are collectively known as periderm. It means the entire secondary tissue in the cortex is known as periderm. Cork is formed in high quantity and secondary cortex is in less quantity because the activity of cork cambium is more towards outside. The highest cavity activity of cork cambium is in winter, means in autumn season. Ring of cork cambium remains living only for 1 year. Each year a new cambium is formed below the previous cambium. This new cambium is derived from the secondary cortex or phyloderm. All these tissues which occurs outside the cork cambium are collectively termed as rhytidome. The rhytidome includes cork and tissues which become dead due to the pressure of cork. Most of the cells in phloem are dead, but some of places living cells are also found. Suberin is not deposited in these places. These places are known as lenticels, and lenticels appears on the outer surface of the plant either in small points or in the form of areas of protuberance. Lenticels are made up of scattered group of living cells. Usually, they are formed below the stomata. These cells are known as complementary cells and complementary tissue. Functions of lenticels. It takes place the exchange of gases between the plant and atmosphere. Rows are arranged either in vertical or longitudinal of lenticels may occur opposite in medullary rays, facilitating the free exchange of gases. Transpiration that takes place through the lenticels is known as lenticular transpiration, and adventitious routes on cutting originate from the living cells of lenticels in vegetative process. Lenticels. Lenticels are found in most of the woody trees but absent in woody climbers. Lenticels are mainly found on woody stems and they are near found on leaves. Lenticels are present in all over the plant body. They are also present on fruits. If lenticels are blocked, then root will die first due to the lack of food. Bark. There are two views about the bark. Let us see. Old view. All the tissue situated outside the cork cambium is called bark. According to old view, bark includes only dead tissues. Modern view. All the tissue situated outside the vascular cambium, it is called bark. According to modern view, bark includes both living and dead tissues. Bark has two parts. Outer layer of bark, it is called richetidome, and inner layer of bark it is called secondary phloem. If complete bark of tree is removed, then plant becomes dead due to the excessive water loss. If the bark is removed in the form of a ring at the base of main stem, then the root will die first due to the lack of food. Now let us discuss about secondary growth in dicot root. First of all, conjunctive tissue becomes meristematic during secondary growth in dicotyledon root and forms separate curved strips of vascular cambium below phloem bundles. Then after the cells of pericycle laying opposite to protoxylem also becomes meristematic to form additional strips of cambium. In this way, a complete ring of vascular cambium is formed. The portion of vascular cambium formed by pericycle is less. The main portion of vascular cambium is formed by conjunctive tissue. The shape of a ring of vascular cambium is waving in the beginning, but later on it becomes circular due to the pressure of secondary xylem. The portion of vascular cambium formed by conjunctive tissue becomes meristematic first and form the secondary xylem towards the center. Ultimately, the ring becomes circular by pressure of secondary xylem, means pushing towards. The activity of vascular cambium of roots is the same as the activity of vascular cambium of the stem. Secondary xylem is formed towards the inner side and the secondary phloem is formed towards the outer side by vascular cambium. The portion of vascular cambium which is formed by pericycle is responsible for the formation of pith rays. These are made up of parenchyma. These pith rays are known as primary medullary rays. A few medullary or pith rays are also formed by remaining vascular cambium. These are called secondary vascular rays. Those two types of medullary rays are found in the secondary structure of roots. The presence of two types of medullary rays is the basic characteristic feature of roots. Only secondary medullary rays are found in the stem after the secondary growth. Both of them conduct water and food in radial direction. Cork cambium is developed from the pericycle in roots. Cork is formed towards the outside and the secondary cortex is formed towards the inner side by the cork cambium. Lenticels are also found in roots but less in number as compared to stem. Cortex completely degenerated in roots after the secondary growth of 1 or 2 years. This falls down due to the pressure of cork, whereas in stem, it generates after the long duration. Secondary growth is essential in roots to provide strength to the growing aerial parts of the plant and fulfill the requirements of water and minerals. Annual rings are not formed in roots because these are not affected by the changes of environment. Secondary growth is not found in monocot roots. Now, let us discuss the functions of secondary meristem. Healing of wounds. When a part gets injured, wound is formed there. Boundary of this wound is raised outside and composed of similar type of living cells called parenchyma cells or callus. Living cells of wound are responsible to form a cambium. This is called wound cambium. It is also called inducible cambium. This newly formed cambium forms cork towards the outside. This cork covers the wound entirely. Wound cambium is secondary, lateral and meristem. Falling of a plant organ is called abscissions. The abscissions takes place due to the formation of abscission layer at the base of plant organ, and it is composed of parenchyma. The middle lamella is dissolved in abscission layer during abscission, and primary walls also dissolve partially or completely. Sign of leaf falls on stem is called leaf scar. This type of wound, the leaf cells of leaf scars are responsible to form cork cambium, which produces cork. Cork covers the wound at the site of abscissions. Protective layer is formed, which is suberized. Thank you.